Maybe the problem isn't that you don't know. Psalm 23, maybe the problem is that you've repeated it so many times that you stopped listening to it. For centuries, people around the world have recited, "The Lord is my shepherd," but few stop to ask what that actually means. This psalm wasn't written to sound beautiful. It was written to reorganize the soul of someone living surrounded by fear. When David calls God a shepherd, he isn't using a gentle, romantic metaphor. In biblical times, a shepherd wasn't a sentimental caretaker sitting in the shade. He was a guardian, a protector, someone who stood between danger and the sheep. David knew exactly what he was talking about. As a young man, he faced lions and bears to protect what had been entrusted to him. So in a Swiss, the Lord is my shepherd. He is declaring something deeper. Someone fights for me before I ever have to fight. And this is where the psalm begins to change everything. I shall not want. This doesn't mean a life without pain or challenges. In Hebrew, the idea isn't material abundance, it's sufficiency to fulfill purpose. In other words, you will always have what you need to walk through what God has allowed. Jesus echoes this same truth when he says, "Look at the birds of the air, your Father feeds them." If God sustains those who don't even know how to ask, why do you believe he would forget you? Then David writes, "He makes me lie down in green pastures." Sheep only lie down when they feel completely safe. Any sign of threat, and they stay alert. David is saying that the presence of God calms the inner system. Not because the dangers disappear, but because someone greater is guarding the door. And there's something even deeper here. Sheep don't rest if they are hungry, thirsty, wounded, or in conflict. Before rest, the shepherd addresses what the sheep can't even name. How many times do you try to rest when what you actually need first is to trust? He restores my soul. The word used here means to bring back what was lost. God doesn't just comfort. He restores parts of you that life has broken apart. Peter experienced this. After denying Jesus 3 times, he didn't receive shame, he received restoration. Every question Jesus asked him by the shore was an accusation. It was reconstruction. God doesn't waste your broken pieces. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. This isn't about moral perfection. It's about direction. God isn't trying to make you look strong. He's trying to lead you to the right destination, even when the path feels confusing. Then David enters the most honest part of the psalm. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, he doesn't say if. He says when. Mature faith doesn't deny darkness, it learns how to walk through it. The valley of the shadow of death refers to places where you can see what's ahead: losses, hard decisions, long seasons of God's silence. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Here, something shifts. David stops talking about God and starts talking to God. Because in the dark, God stops being a concept and becomes a presence. The rod protects, the staff corrects. One prevents attack, the other keeps you from getting lost. Just as at the Red Sea, when Israel didn't have to fight but simply stand, God still opens paths where there is no ground. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. God doesn't need to eliminate every adversary. Sometimes he chooses to reveal who he is while they watch. Daniel wasn't saved from the lion's den. He was saved inside it. And the place meant to be, his shame became his greatest testimony. The oil poured out isn't a distant symbol. It was medicine, healing for open wounds. God doesn't just honor you. He cares for the places where you bled. And when the cup overflows, it's not to display excess, it's to share hope. Finally, David declares, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me." The original word isn't follow, it's pursue. Even when you run, the grace of God runs faster. And when David says he will dwell in the house of the Lord, he's not talking about the future. He's talking about now. The presence of God isn't a place you go, it's a place you carry. And here is the secret that changes everything. Psalm 23 is not a request, it's a declaration. David doesn't beg God to be his shepherd. He affirms that he already is. Maybe today you don't need to ask for less fear. Maybe you need to remember who is guarding you. And if this psalm reached you today, Maybe it wasn't by chance. Maybe it's a quiet reminder. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. And you are still being led, even when you don't realize it. I hope to meet you on the great day. May God continue to bless you with brotherly love, minutes of grace.